Coming up on tonight's UAP News Show.
Cosmic cover-up? The James Webb Space Telescope discovery Congress won't discuss.
The truth is out there. Burchett and Gallaudet will attend November's UFO hearings.
Beyond the Deep, CIA, Navy, and Lockheed Martin secret missions to recover USOs.
Who blocked the UAPDA, and is there still a chance it'll pass?
And the program trailer has been released.
Hey there, beautiful souls. It's your girl, Allie, and we are back at it again for another episode of UAP Society's weekly UAP and UFO News Show. We are stoked to get started, so without further ado, Justin, say hey.
Greetings, cosmic enthusiasts. It's Justin here. Let's dive right in.
Up first, cosmic cover-up, the James Webb Space Telescope discovery Congress won't discuss. Hold on to your seats, UFO enthusiasts. A recent inquiry into the James Webb Space Telescope has raised some very intriguing questions. When Rep. Andre Carson was asked about making any comments regarding the telescope's recent discoveries, he cryptically responded with a no comment. Could JWST have found something so extraordinary that it's being kept under wraps? Join us as we discuss the tantalizing possibility. Is a massive non-human object on a collision course with Earth, and is the government covering it up?
A tweet from Askapol says, new exclusive. No comment. Rep. Andre Carson replies when Askapol inquires about any JWST classified briefings. And to gain a better understanding and perspective of the recent JWST conversations, and to hear Rep. Carson say that himself, check out the next clip that we put together. Shout out to Patrick, Pavel, Clint, Simon, and Matt Laszlo.
Hello.
We got some confirmation of the news I came up with on Monday about the James Webb Telescope. So the gist of it was that James Webb confirmed a couple of things. One from the SETI at home signal that was discovered in the early 2000s. Those were just lights. They're not city lights. They're not from any specific planet, as far as I know. People have been speculating that it is either Zeta Reticuli or Proxima B, but none of that has been confirmed. Just that there were some lights that were spotted from that frequency that was found, modulation, as Simon Holland said.
Something is going on. And then, this is to tie in with James Webb and Pavel. He said, maybe it's not a radio signature. I said, what else could it be? He said, Breakthrough Listen doesn't just look for radio signatures. We look for optical signatures. And we use different technology, obviously James Webb and telescopes, because we think from these 5 candidates, BLC 1 to 5, there are a light source, possibly a laser or some. I'm being very human in saying that. There's some light signature coming from these candidates, and it's quite likely that these candidates are real. They're really verified. That James Webb has looked for a light signature, and radio telescopes on Earth are looking for more details in the radio signature. A massive new funding from Europe called Horizon, which funds all science in Europe, is putting so much money into radio astronomy right now. They've found something. They've built a new telescope in Germany. There's one in Africa being built. No, that has been built. And they're upgrading something called a square kilometre array in Australia, because it's all being funded for these BLC, the candidate signatures. And I absolutely don't doubt, and Andrew, the head of Breakthrough Listen, told me they're looking for optical signatures, probably with a James Webb. So yes.
Wow. Okay, right here, y'all. This is my brain exploding.
I think we found we could possibly have found a signature of an ET, of an alien technological signature. We can't really nail it. We need more data. But that's what they're doing right now. Pavel, that's why James Webb is looking for optical signatures, and that's why all these telescopes in the world, radio telescopes, are focusing in to get more data and get out of the LIS, get out of the low information zone. I think they found something.
The other thing was that they're saying that Another confirmation is that the James Webb is being briefed in Congress, to people in Congress, in unclassified settings. That's what I was told. I decided to go to Matt Laszlo from Askapol and tell him to ask Congress people about this. He asked them about classified briefings. He asked Senator Gillibrand. She said nope. But then she asked Representative Carson. And that was interesting, to say the least, because he didn't say no. He didn't say yes either.
Did you hear?
Oh, oversight.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What do you make of that?
Listen, the public wants no one here, but can you have a party without us?
Have you fair? Hey, have you ever been in classified briefings on the James Webb Space Telescope?
No comment, my good brother.
No comment?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
As you guys may have already realized, Carson has been part of some briefings in Congress already where they talk about UAP. And he's been one of the few during the first briefings that took place.
More than 50 years ago, the U.S. government ended Project Blue Book, an effort to catalog and understand sightings of objects in the air that could not otherwise be explained. For more than 20 years, that project had treated unidentified anomalies in our airspace as a national security threat to be monitored and investigated. In 2017, we learned for the first time that the Department of Defense had quietly restarted a similar organization tracking what we now call unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. Last year, Congress rewrote the charter for that organization, now called the Airborne Object Identification and Management Synchronization Group, or AIM-SOG for short. Today, we will bring that organization out of the shadows. This hearing and oversight work has a simple idea at its core. Unidentified aerial phenomena are a potential national security threat, and they need to be treated that way. For too long, the stigma associated with UAPs has gotten in the way of good intelligence analysis. Pilots avoided reporting or were laughed at when they did. DoD officials relegated the issue to the back room or swept it under the rug entirely, fearful of a skeptical national security community. Today, we know better. UAPs are unexplained, it's true, but they are real. They need to be investigated, and many threats they pose need to be mitigated.
In addition to that, there's more controversy surrounding the JWST. To learn more, let's take a look at an article called Wanted by NASA, Space Telescope Director with Spy Credentials. Wanted by NASA, Space Telescope Director with Spy Credentials. The leader of the James Webb Space Telescope must have the clearance that allows access to the highest level of classified information, according to a NASA want ad. Conspiracy theorists may wonder, why does NASA's next major telescope director need top secret clearance? The space agency recently posted a want ad for a person to lead its James Webb Space Telescope program, and in addition to aerospace engineering credentials and management experience, the candidate must have the highest possible level of security credentials. NASA says the requirement is standard, although the ad raised some eyebrows in the security community. It seems quite unusual, says former CIA analyst Alan Thompson, who speculates that the clearance might allow the JWST director to coordinate using NASA telescope technology for National Reconnaissance Office satellites. Stephen Aftergood of the Federation of American Scientists Project on Government Secrecy noted the requirement on his Secrecy News blog. Quote, "My first reaction was surprised that this was among the key requirements for the position," end quote, Aftergood says. And it's a sign of just how closely the civilian space program is intertwined with national security. The James Webb Space Telescope director will be required to have access to top secret and sensitive compartmented information, the highest level of classified information, derived from intelligence sources and methods, Aftergood says. It potentially covers a lot of ground. To receive such a security clearance, a person might have to undergo polygraph testing, an oral interview, and a thorough background check. It raises a concern because of the potential to exclude some highly qualified candidates. There are some distinguished scientists who may be unwilling to submit to the security clearance process and the whole apparatus that comes with it, which can include such things as pre-publication review requirements, intrusive background investigations, and other moderately unpleasant features. Unpleasant features? Geez, I wonder what that is. Perhaps unsurprisingly, with regards to such a secretive topic, NASA was mum on the details of what aspects of JWST planning require top secret clearance. It's important to ensure that the JWST program director is exposed to and benefits from common practices, standards, and manufacturing techniques that are used both in classified and unclassified programs, Chu says. This leads to a better understanding of the work involved and better mission outcomes. Aftergood speculated that the requirement likely had to do with the interface between Webb's technology and that used in intelligence and military Earth-observing satellites. I think it probably reflects the whole of surveillance technology and the need for coordination with U.S. intelligence agencies, he says. Of course, fertile minds will inevitably hatch some more exciting and implausible possible reasons for the security requirement. For example, top secret clearance could come in handy if NASA ever encounters little green men. Wink, wink. And before we start our discussion, here's one last thing to consider. Michelangelo tweeted, "Someone pointed out to me that there is a 1-year embargo on JWST data. I quickly looked it up and others have said the same. So I guess they can hold stuff back for a year if they want to?" Okay, so we heard a lot of stuff. We heard from Carson.
Yeah.
We heard from Simon Holland. We heard about, the upcoming things. We heard about how you have to have like top security clearance to operate the JWST, and now we know that they hold data back for an entire year. What do you want to say?
All right. Well, okay. All right. I'm just going to go by the order.
Yeah, let's go in the order that we presented things.
How interesting would that be if they, in fact, detected some type of technological signal from somewhere else? Mm-hmm. You know, that would be utterly life-changing, I think, for most people on this planet. Yep. And I mean, I'm really glad if the reason that they're putting more money into trying to study and figure out, or trying to get more data, I'm really happy that they're putting money towards that. If that is in fact why they're putting the money towards those other radio telescopes. I mean, that's basically what Simon alluded to. He's like, look, they're building all these telescopes in all these different countries, and he pretty much alluded to the fact that they're doing so because they found something and now they want to find more something. Right. Well, I think he was saying that they found something, but they're in a low data environment. Yeah, and they need to get up to a better data environment. Yeah, a low, yeah, that's what he said, low data environment, or not environment. Low information zone, I think it was. Yeah, exactly, same thing, right. But yeah, so I'm happy that they are trying to get more data on this potential signal. Yeah. Some of the more fantastical stories out there is that JWST detected some kind of massive object coming to Earth. Yeah. And it course corrected a couple times. Yeah. I haven't seen any concrete data on that myself, so I remain a little skeptical about that claim. Okay. Is that Oumuamua, or that's totally separate from Oumuamua? But separate. People are comparing it to like Oumuamua, like it's like Oumuamua adjacent. Huh. Okay, well, I don't know. If there's a paper written about it, or if there's other scientists coming out saying yes, they in fact detected some type of object coming here, then I'll start to look at it a little closer. But for me, I remain a little skeptical about that claim in particular. That's fair. Simply because there's no actual, real, tangible data in the public sector yet. Okay. All right. So that brings up another question or point: is why are they classifying JWST data? If there's images of the cosmos, why is that classified? Okay, yeah, you don't have to tell us the communication system between Earth and the telescope, and okay, so yeah, we don't need to know that, but the data or the images that we get from the telescope, why is that classified? That
And
is
why
so...
is it taking a year for them to release this
Well,
stuff?
okay, so the embargo is put in place because the scientists the way the telescope works is the scientists create a request, right, for telescope time, and then they put that request together, and then it gets reviewed by other scientists that run the telescope, and they will allocate so much telescope time to that particular scientist who's trying to get this particular data so he can write his paper. Okay, so when that scientist has done all that work to get the telescope time, when they get the data in, that scientist then has a year to analyze it within their own team before it can be analyzed by other scientists. So other scientists can't just come in and steal that person's work.
Okay,
right?
I see that.
So that's why there's an embargo on there. That's not necessarily to keep stuff hidden, you know.
Do you know where my mind went with the whole, like, you know, we have to wait a year before we release this stuff and all that?
I think so, but I want to hear it from you.
I basically went to, like, NASA cut the feed vibes. You know, it's like, here we are live in space, and oh, look, there goes something anomalous, and boop, the feed cuts off. Sorry, we're not live anymore. All of a sudden now there's like a delay. You know, like, that's what I was getting from this situation. But maybe it's a little bit more along the lines of procedural, scientifical kind of stuff. But I don't know, my skeptical mind likes to go with a little bit conspiracy-ish explanation sometimes. So yeah, I was getting, like, you know, they're seeing things that they can't explain, therefore they want to delay giving it to us or letting us see it so they have time to, like, scrub it or remove it or edit it or put something else over it or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, honestly, both things could be true.
Yeah.
Both things. They definitely hold on to data so that the scientist that put in the work can analyze that data. And has a whole year to analyze it and write his own paper.
I get it.
And make his own discovery.
Okay, so what do you think about Congress being briefed on this stuff and then the whole, like, no comment scenario?
Well, okay, so the embargo could also be a tool used by, you know, by some people that don't want certain data getting out, right? It could also be used as a tool, and if they in fact did detect something remarkable, you know, they would want to inform our government. They would have a need to inform Congress if, you know, if they did in fact detect some type of signs of life.
Okay.
All right. And remember earlier this year, we talked about a detection of dimethyl sulfide.
Yep. K218b.
From K218b.
Yep.
And they were allocating more telescope time to get additional data on K218b, and I think they've already taken those data measurements already.
Okay.
You know, so if they detected dimethyl sulfide again, and they got confirmation that it is dimethyl sulfide, you know, they could be briefing Congress to that discovery.
Yeah, but the fact that he's saying no comment instead of, like, no,
that means
or,
that I think that means that he was briefed about it.
Yeah, it's like it's like another one of those. There's a there. Exactly. Yeah. Right. So when he said no comment, I was like, oh, okay, I heard you, Rep Carson. I heard you.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just so much going on.
It could just be no, I didn't get briefed. But why would he not come out and say that?
Yeah.
Right. You know, why allow everybody to speculate? You know,
because you know we're gonna speculate. Any little wiggle room or area of gray, we're gonna get in there and be like, "Hey, wait a minute," you know, like, hold on now.
Exactly. It's very interesting to me. It's very curious as to why he would just say, you know, no comment.
Yeah.
You know, and Matt, you know, said no comment. And he said yes, sir. So.
Yep.
You know, it's not like you know, I just slipped up and said no comment because I just wanted to say no comment. He means, you know, I can't comment.
I can't say nothing.
Right.
My
Which
lips
means
are sealed.
there might be something there.
Right,
Who knows?
Right.
We won't know unless it comes out, you know, but it's very interesting to me. I love to think about space, and I love to think about the different possibilities. I don't think there is a chance in hell that we are alone in this universe.
Absolutely not. No. But and this also makes me think of, like, the whole 2027 situation that everybody's always talking about. Like, maybe the James Webb Space Telescope saw something or confirmed something. I don't know. My brain always goes back to the whole idea of, like, our government has made agreements with certain races of NHI. Okay. So I'm thinking, like, well, I don't know. My brain goes to like a million different places, so like I can't really explain like everywhere it goes. But basically, like I'm thinking like, okay, so what if like there's some kind of agreement that's gonna expire soon, to where like the aliens were like, okay, look, like we're gonna remain cloaked and we're gonna remain hidden for X amount of time, and then at this date, if you guys don't handle your people and tell them about us, we're just going to show up. So I'm thinking like, okay, take that thought process. And now we're looking through the James Webb Space Telescope. What if we see their mothership like pulling up? Like, what if we see the mothership like pulling up on scene and we're like, yo, hey, there, guys, there's something really big here that's course correcting itself to us. And maybe that's why they're all like getting briefed. And maybe that's why they're all like, no comment. And maybe that's why there's all this like 2027 doomsday kind of, I don't even want to say doomsday, because like a lot of people add fear to it. I don't want to add fear to it.
Okay.
What if it's like the friggin' welcome home party for our space brothers and sisters that's on the way, and the government don't want to like have us have that party? I don't know. Guys, forgive me. My brain goes like all over the place.
We're digressing, but
we're not digressing. We're talking about things that could be totally conspiratorially relative.
yeah, okay.
See, this is the kind of stuff that we talk about, like even off the show. Like even when we're sitting on the couch watching Netflix, like it takes us 10 hours to watch a 1 hour episode because we're constantly pausing it, going, "Hey, wait a minute. What if it relates to this, this? Yeah, we're constantly murder boarding.
Yeah, it's fun. I love it.
Me too. All right. So, what do you guys think of Rep. Andre Carson's no comment, and what does it really mean? If the James Webb Space Telescope has detected a massive non-human object, what do you think it could be? An asteroid, a spacecraft, or something else entirely? Should Congress be more transparent about what JWST is finding, or do you think there are valid reasons for keeping these discoveries classified? Let us know what you think in the comment section below.
Up next, the truth is out there. Burchett and Gallaudet will attend November's UFO hearing. The Senate Armed Services Committee is gearing up for another explosive UFO hearing after the November elections, and we already know it's going to be one for the history books. Senator Christian Gillibrand has confirmed the hearing will bring updates from the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. But the real kicker, we'll be hearing firsthand from Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet, and just added to the list of representatives attending will be none other than Tim Burchett, the man who isn't afraid to call out the government's potential cover-up of UAPs. After last summer's shocking House testimony, could this be the moment when the veil finally lifts on UFO secrets?
Release the files, daggummit! On X, Tim Gallaudet says, looking forward to contributing to another historic UAP hearing. And let's not forget Chairman Miss Nancy Mace. A tweet from Askapol UAP says, news exclusive. Chair Nancy Mace previews fall UAP hearing. Quote, I need people who've maybe seen some shit and can tell us some stuff, end quote. She tells Askapol after meeting with UAP caucus co-chairs Tim Burchett and Anna Paulina.
I can't wait. I can't wait. This is good. You know, I really was looking forward to last year's hearings, you know, but I'm even more so looking forward to this year's.
Yeah, why?
Yeah. Well, just because Tim Gallaudet is going to be testifying.
Okay.
Possibly Alex Dietrich, who was the other wingman pilot during the Tic Tac UFO encounter.
Where did you hear that? I didn't hear that.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
No, it's on Twitter. Well, Nancy Mace has I think it was a part of that tweet that we just read.
Okay.
It was like in the comments below.
Okay.
I believe. I don't know. I have to go double check. But yeah, she said that she's not confirmed, so we don't know if she's going to be there, but possibly.
Okay.
You know, so I don't know. That would be interesting to see her testify.
Yeah, because she would bring more clarity to the whole Nimitz situation.
Yeah.
But honestly, I mean, I'm stoked for Tim Gallaudet because he's gonna bring USOs to the table, y'all. He's gonna bring USOs to the table.
Yeah.
He was in that Darcy Weir film. And fuck, I can't remember the name of it now. I think it was USOs. Something. I don't know. I can't remember. It's a Darcy Weir film about USOs with Tim Gallaudet in it, and he goes into details about stuff that he's seen and how the Navy reacts to these types of situation and how much the Navy already kind of knows without going into all that the Navy kind of already knows. And yeah, it's just a very interesting component to this whole thing, because when you think about how much water is on this planet and how much ocean there is compared to land mass,
exactly,
and how much potential all that ocean has to have all kind of things in it. I mean, hello. Under the sea. Under the sea.
Yeah, you know, I think 70% of our planet is covered, you know, by water.
Yep.
So and that would be a really good place to hide.
Yep.
Right. Or, if whatever this NHI is, if they evolved here and have always been here, just hiding in the oceans, maybe they evolved in the oceans. That's another explanation that we don't, we don't know the real reasons why they're here or what they're doing here, or, we don't know the answers yet. All we're doing is speculating, but it could be a possibility that they've always been here, just in the oceans.
It's giving Avatar Waterworld vibes, you guys.
Yeah, a little
it's
bit,
giving
right?
Avatar.
Cool, right?
I'm so here for that.
So, with all the experience that Admiral Gallaudet has working, in the ocean environment.
Even outside the Navy, all the stuff that he does, like with NOAA and all them.
Right. It's very interesting to see him testify under oath in Congress. So I'm very much so looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward to hearing the new director of Aero, John Kozlowski. I think we're going to
get a feel for him, right? We'll finally figure out what kind of guy he is.
Right. So, I remain hopeful about him. I remain hopeful about the direction that he's going to take Aero in. I don't know. It's like a double-edged sword for me.
Yeah.
Because I was so hopeful before with the UAPDA. I don't know.
I know. Your ego's a little bruised, maybe a little bit. We talked about that last week too.
But just I don't know.
Yeah, not ego. That probably wasn't the right word.
No.
But you're, I can't think of what the right word is. But you get what I'm trying to say, right? Like, in other words, he was disappointed and he's a little butthurt about it.
Yeah, I guess. But anyway, I still remain hopeful. So that still remains to be seen. How he's going to be and what direction he's going to take Aero. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's in a better direction than it was before.
And plus, we still have time to figure out who the other people that are going to be up there with Tim Gallaudet. I mean, he's not going to be up there on the stand by himself, I don't think. I'm pretty sure if they're getting this thing together, it's going to be more than one person. So we still have to leave room for excitement for whoever those people end up being.
Possibly Bob Lazar.
Right, yes. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Holy 115. That would be crazy. That would be awesome.
Yeah, especially if he's testifying under oath.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm also, Alex
that would
Dietrich,
give so much
Bob
more
Lazar
credibility to his claims.
I mean, maybe even, the Clapper, maybe we'll throw him on the stand. I don't know. There's a lot of people that I can think about.
What do you think the Senate Armed Services Committee should focus on in this hearing? Are national security risks around UAPs being taken seriously enough? Do you think this UFO hearing will finally bring more transparency about UAPs? Or will it be another case of government secrecy? Let us know in the comment section below.
Next on the docket, Beyond the Deep, CIA, Navy, and Lockheed Martin's secret mission to recover USOs. Okay, guys, hold on to your hats because this latest revelation will blow your wig back. Liberation Times has uncovered a covert operation involving the CIA, Department of Defense, and Department of Energy, where democratic oversight has been bypassed in the retrieval of advanced objects of unknown origin with deep ties to Lockheed Martin and other defense contractors. The clandestine programs, including rumor USO recovery missions, involve agencies like JSOC, CIA's Maritime Branch, and even Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution. But that's not all. Rumors are swirling about a 2004 firefight between JSOC and Lockheed Martin's recovery teams, allegedly over UAP, with tragic consequences. Is this why Ross Coulthart has spotlighted Lockheed Martin as central to the mystery? And as the UAP hearings approach, the testimony of Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet could provide critical insight into these classified operations. The truth is coming. Are you ready?
A tweet from Christopher Sharp says, "Okay, so someone has recklessly put me at extreme risk. So I have updated last week's article related to the UAPDA, reverting back to details previously mentioned. This time, the details are far more specific. So here it is, the alleged undersea retrieval program. To learn more, let's look at an excerpt of that article called Paradigm Changing UFO Transparency Legislation Fails in Congress for a Second Consecutive Year."
It says, if passed, the UAPDA could have unleashed a process revealing that the U.S. government and defense contractors possess retrieved crafts, which are, according to the Act, capable of transmedium travel, instantaneous acceleration, hypersonic speeds, and positive lift. Liberation Times has learned that the CIA, currently facing mounting criticism over alleged dishonesty regarding anomalous health incidents, Havana Syndrome much, along with the Department of Defense and Department of Energy, has consistently bypassed democratic oversight in retrieving advanced objects of unknown origin. According to the Liberation Time sources, these materials are subsequently sent to national labs and select defense contractors, including Lockheed Martin. Multiple programs are understood to be orchestrated by the CIA's Directorate of Science and Technology and its Directorate of Operations alongside Department of Defense components. Liberation Times has uncovered details of an alleged program focusing on retrieving advanced crafts from beneath the sea, some reportedly of non-human or unknown origin. This alleged program draws on multiple agencies and departments' specialized assets and expertise to carry out these missions. Among those involved are Maritime Branch of the CIA's Directorate of Operations, the U.S. Navy, the National Underwater Reconnaissance Office, jointly operated by the Navy and CIA, and United States Special Operations Command. It is further understood that the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution has provided deep submergence vehicles to support these retrieval efforts. Once recovered, these crafts are allegedly transferred to the Office of Naval Research, which subsequently hands them over to the defense contractors for detailed analysis.
Additionally, Ross Cohart hosted an Ask Me Anything on Reddit, and the following question from UAP Juan got a very interesting response. Is there any merit to the claim that in 2004 there was a blue-on-blue firefight between JSOC unit and a Lockheed Martin recovery team over a UAP craft, resulting in the death of 2 JSOC members? Ross responded yes, and that's not the only incident.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And here's 2 older interesting tweets that are worth considering in the story. Chris on X said, Senator Harry Reid on UAP in the New Yorker. I was told for decades that Lockheed had some of these retrieved materials, he said. But they wouldn't give me the clearance. Lockheed Martin declined to comment.
Put Off by Put Off said, James Graywood / Jonathan Gray. Does anyone think that the code name of one of Grush's colleagues is so similar to James Graywood is just a tad coincidental? James Graywood tweeted and almost immediately deleted this tweet saying, possibly investigate where Lockheed Martin leases buildings from a federal agency since 1978 in the Southwest, where Lockheed Martin never has layoffs, an unusual number of older employees and national security retirees are employed. So he's given us little breadcrumbs there. I feel like those are little breadcrumbs. So yeah, this is a pretty big story. There's a lot of different pieces that are all tied into this. This story is kind of like a conglomerate of a couple different things. Okay, so we're talking about a lot here. We're talking about USO crash retrieval programs. We're talking about the fact that we have JSOG and Lockheed Martin both showing up on scene of a crash, and then there being a firefight between the two, and in the process of them fighting over who's going to actually recover this craft, 2 JSOC members got so that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Then we're talking about how Senator Harry Reid tried to get clearance to look into Lockheed Martin stuff, but they didn't give it to him. And then we're talking about this guy left a little breadcrumb trail as to where these possible facilities housing these crafts can be located. He's like, look in this location through this year with this kind of people employed, and you'll find something. That's basically what he was saying.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that. Why would we allow a corporation to take precedent over our government teams, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's so stupid. It's like, you know, our government is going out and trying to get a crash retrieval, but yet they're met with a team from Lockheed Martin. You know, I mean, that's so wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, that
then,
might be why Coulthart named Lockheed Martin above all in the criminal side of things.
Yeah.
Because private companies shooting soldiers over black budget craft should definitely be brought out, and those people should be prosecuted. I mean, what are we talking about here? We're talking about retrieving things that don't exist, but people are dying in the process of getting these things that don't exist.
Right.
Like, come on, that's freaking nuts,
I mean,
guys.
why does Lockheed Martin even have their own team? Their own strike team.
Right. I mean, like
the fact that they felt the need to put together a strike team, you know, is insane to me. You know, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
It's very interesting, though, with all of this information coming out at the same time, though. I mean, we just talked about Tim Gallaudet in the last story and the upcoming UAP hearings and the fact that he's going to bring the USOs to the table. Now we're talking about USO retrieval missions and firefights over them. We're talking, there's just so much. There's so much. Sometimes it's hard for me to even put a story like this together because it's like there's so many working pieces to it. I'm trying to present you with a neat little thing to like easily consume and comprehend.
Right.
And sometimes
We're trying
it's
to make it
hard. Sometimes it's
digestible,
hard. Yeah, we're trying to make it digestible, and sometimes it literally gives me a headache. But I feel like it's freaking worth it. That's why we're doing this.
It's important.
It
It's
is.
important to know
Yeah.
if a corporation has a militarized group that go out and engage in firefights,
Right.
with other.
I mean, do you think this has anything to do with why? This is probably a stretch, but hear me out. You know that recent that UAP PDF? It was like 8 or 10, 12 pages or whatever, and it was like handed out to all the police departments, and it was like basically like the history of UAPs and how to handle them and blah blah blah. I'm wondering if that is a sign of the trickling down of trying to get us comfortable with this happening. Like I'm thinking of like the total conspiracy and secrecy around these craft recovery teams, and then I'm thinking about how like our own law system are just now getting used to the idea of talking about and potentially responding to a UAP situation. So I'm wondering if that is like a sign that it's starting to trickle downhill to us. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is, but I'm kind of confused about what that has to do with the story.
Because I'm thinking about like these crash recovery teams and how they respond to crashes of UAPs. And then I'm thinking about our law enforcement that responds to dealing with the public, but now they're being prepped to potentially also respond to crashed UAPs because it talks about how to handle that type of scenario. It even talks about the radiation and it talks about the potential hazard that can come to you by being in close proximity to these things. Yeah. I don't know. I told you it was a stretch. Maybe it was a little bit too much of a stretch, but whatevs.
Okay. Yeah. I think okay, so in my mind, that PDF going out to the different law enforcement agencies is a way to try to get them acclimated.
That's what I'm saying.
To this new reality.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but the teams that are associated with JSOC and I guess now Lockheed Martin.
Oh yeah, they're not on the same level at all. I get that.
No, I don't think. I think they have data from these classified systems that there was some type of anomalous object that went down in this location.
Yeah, how did they get called on scene? Who calls the UFO recovery guys? It's like, I know when you see a ghost, you call Ghostbusters, but when you see a UFO, you call Jason.
Okay, all right, so the Air Force or the Space Force, if they see something on their satellite systems, on their sensor systems, on their space-based radars, right, on ground-based radars, if they see an object that's acting anomalous, they, for one, either they can shoot it down, or two, they set a trap for it and then shoot it down, or three, they just see this object crash. Okay, they know where it crashed at, so they send the team. Well, Lockheed Martin also has its own systems that can detect objects or anomalous craft, right?
That's so crazy.
And they send their own team in that same spot because they detected it too.
Yeah, I'm understanding everything you're laying down. I'm picking up everything you're laying down.
Right, and that's how you can end up with a conflict. But it's if Lockheed Martin is going to have an organization, or if another government contractor is going to have a militarized organization to go out and get recoveries, they should be communicating with our government so that United States military members don't die.
Put themselves at risk.
Don't die because they're both trying to go get this craft.
Yeah.
That's completely asinine.
How does a firefight even ensue? Like, I mean, I'm assuming it's like a lot of testosterone and ego in this situation, but I'm saying, like,
well, my mind goes
did they not know about each other before they showed up and they were like, yo, who the F are you?
They probably don't know about each other.
Or did they know and they were just mad that one showed up and the other? Like, is it like a turf war, or is it like a, oh shit, I didn't know you were...
I guarantee you those people did not announce who they were.
Man, can you imagine? Like, I would have, like, to be a fly in the air watching that firefight ensue. Like, wow.
I don't know. It's
not saying I want to see people die or anything. I'm just saying, like, how does that kind of conflict even happen? You know what I'm saying? Like,
because they're both trying to get the same object.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm saying, like, it's just wild that this whole
It is wild, for
The
sure.
whole thing.
For sure. But, okay, what if it's not just... What if these teams were not just put together for UAP? What if they were put together to go get, let's say, China has an airplane or some type of advanced drone that crashes, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So right, and I think that's the more prosaic explanation for JSOC. Is,
but what about Lockheed Martin's?
Exactly. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I think if our government should have the ability or right to go out and recover, you know, things that we have an interest in for our national security, and if the government or JSOC determines that Lockheed Martin or another contractor needs to have this craft to try to reverse engineer it, I'm all for that. What I am not for is having a third-party corporation, whether it's Lockheed Martin, whether it's Boeing, whether it's Northrop Grumman, you know, whatever. I don't think
that is Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, I don't think they should have their own militarized organization to go out and recover, you know, some type of technology, whether it's UAP or another country's technology that went down, or maybe it's one of our own drones, a highly secretive drone that crashed somewhere in the world. That team is tasked with going and recovering it or destroying it so that it doesn't fall into the hands of our adversaries. That's the real reason for these teams that have been put together. But
to
if
recover
there
a craft
is,
of unknown or non-human origin?
yeah, you know, I mean, they probably don't know what they're going to get.
Right.
You know, when they get the call to go,
They just
to
show
whatever
up
place.
and go, oh, crap.
You know, I mean, they are probably briefed in on the fact that there could be, you know, an anomalous craft of non-human intelligence. You know, but that's not like the public's explanation. That's not the public explanation for having that program. You know what I mean? The public explanation for having that program is to either one, go recover our own technology to keep it from getting into the wrong hands, or to get an adversary's technology so that we can better understand their systems. I mean, that's what the other countries are trying to do to us anyway.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
But it's extremely wrong and immoral for a third-party corporation to have their own recovery team, in my opinion.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so with Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet set to testify at the upcoming hearings, what are you most curious to learn about USO retrieval missions? Do you believe the CIA, Navy, and other government agencies are conducting secret missions to retrieve UAPs from the depths of the ocean? What do you think they found? Make sure to join the UAP Society Discord server and share your thoughts with the community. An invite link can be found in the video description box below, so make sure to do that and tag us when you get there and say what's up.
Up next, who blocked the UAPDA? Is there a chance it will still pass?
Get ready for some major developments in Washington. Last week, we covered a story we called UAPDA 2.0 Gutted Again. What's next for disclosure? So as you already know, Senator Mike Rounds and Chuck Schumer have reintroduced the game-changing UAPDA amendment into the 2025 NDAA, but it got gutted again. If passed, this bill would shine a light on decades worth of UFO secrets, finally giving the public access to long-hidden evidence. But the plot thickens. After recent rumors that the UAPDA was blocked by Senator Paul, the truth has surfaced. It turns out that it was none other than Mr. Mitch McConnell that blocked the UAPDA from inclusion in the NDAA, which leaves us wondering, how far are Senator Rounds and Schumer willing to push this disclosure to get it through? With subpoena power and even eminent domain at stake, this legislation could blow the lid off of UFO secrecy once and for all. Will negotiations prevail, or are we facing another roadblock in the search for the truth?
To set the record straight, Christopher Sharp says, in a separate phone transaction obtained by Liberation Times, a staff member states, Senator Paul cleared that amendment, so any delay was not due to his actions. That tweet was an update to an older post that said, after initially declining to comment on the record via email, a staffer from Senator Paul's office has now told Liberation Times through phone call that the senator cleared the UAPDA to be included within the manager's package.
Senator Paul's office pulled a Shaggy. They were like, it wasn't me.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It wasn't me.
Right. And the Good Trouble Show with Matt Ford also adds, breaking. It was Mitch McConnell who blocked the inclusion of the UAP Disclosure Act in the manager's package for the NDAA. Let's see what magic Senator Rounds and Schumer can muster to get this through in other ways.
Additionally, Askapol UAP says, new exclusive, Senator Mike Rounds, negotiations continue on Chuck Schumer's UAPDA amendment to NDAA. All right, you guys, so there you have it. That was like a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Like, First we started off by saying, oh, Senator Paul, it was you. And then Senator Paul was like, nah, man, it wasn't me. I'm innocent.
Right.
Then all of a sudden it came out that Mitch McConnell was the one who actually blocked it. And now Schumer and Rounds are going hard at it again, trying to get this thing through. So I don't know what kind of magic, like Matt Ford said, they have to pull out of their little fairy dust bag to sprinkle on the situation to make it happen. But hey, if there's a will, there's a way. I hope. I hope.
I hope there's a way too. You know, I mean, I don't know. Man.
I know you already got bruised by this. We talked about that earlier. You don't want to get
I'm scared to get hopeful
again. That's what's happening.
I don't want to get hopeful again.
Called it.
I don't know, man.
I know. And we've already talked about this too, so I don't even know.
This is such a roller coaster ride.
It is a roller coaster. It's like
up and down, up and down, up and down.
This is happening. It's happening.
I mean, it's been this way for the last 70 years, I feel like.
Nah,
with the whole disclosure, with whole UFO, UAP.
Yeah, but recent years have had way more condensed activity than like the longevity of the whole 70 years. Man. I know. There's just like so much.
Why would he block it? I mean, did he block this packaged in order to get the NDAA passed? He knew that there was some contention within the UAPDA. So I wonder if he blocked it so that the NDAA could get passed. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know what his reasoning was. Whatever his reasoning was, it sucks.
I know what the people in the comments are saying, and it's not nice and nothing that I'm going to repeat.
Is he trying to be a gatekeeper?
Here. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just sum it up by saying that I'm trying to find a PG way of saying this. I don't know if I can. Basically, the guy's old school, and he's going to die old school, and he's trying to take old school to the grave.
Huh.
I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
I'll leave out all the other sprinkles of description that people use.
I don't know. I mean, man.
Yeah,
that would be awesome if they found a path forward to get this in and get it passed.
Well, if they do, or if anything else occurs along this roller coaster of a story, best bet we will fill you in and let you know what's going on.
Yeah.
So how confident are you that Senator Schumer and Rounds will find another way to pass the UAP Disclosure Act? What could they do to push this through? Do you think Mitch McConnell's block on the UAPDA is a strategic move, or is there something more sinister at play regarding keeping UFO secrets under wraps? Let us know what you think in the comment section below.
And last but not least, the program trailer has been released. Okay, peeps, the long-awaited trailer to James Fox's upcoming documentary, The Program, is finally here.
Yay!
While we still don't have an actual release date, at least we have this to hold us over.
Yay!
In a tweet from James, he says, the program trailer is out now. The X-Files meets real life in trailer for James Fox's new UFO documentary, The Program. Let's watch the trailer now.
Oh God, I hope YouTube lets us do this.
Yeah.
In 2017, the New York Times published a story exposing a secret government program investigating UFOs.
That story was kind of a catalyst for a lot of things that have happened since. Members of Congress started to ask questions.
Instruments report there is something there. There are flight characteristics that we can't explain.
UAPs are unexplained. It's true. They need to be investigated.
Here we are having a hearing where just a few years ago, we didn't even acknowledge that these things were real.
Do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
You're telling me people have come forward claiming firsthand knowledge of craft of non-human origin?
That's correct. We have sources who have asserted not only that there have been crashes, but there have been crash retrievals.
Do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they human or non-human?
Non-human.
I'm sitting here today because the American people are being lied to.
We are the American government, and we are open, and we're going to be open about this.
What has been revealed.
Non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity.
Is only part of the story.
The pressure's on. The Pentagon, the CIA, they're going to have to answer the mail.
Some are risking everything.
Have you had incidences that have caused you to be in fear for your life?
Yes, personally.
To uncover the rest.
What is being done to verify the assertion that the U.S. government has spaceships of non-human intelligence in their possession?
That kind of revelation unearths people's beliefs.
I would go to jail to say things that I've been exposed to in the program.
So I don't know about you guys, but that trailer, man, that I cannot wait to see this thing. I really, really hope that YouTube didn't flag that as any kind of copyright material.
Yeah.
We had to edit it out because I hate when that happens. It actually happens more than you guys realize.
It does. It does.
It really stinks. It's like we'll go to use a clip that has like an amazing story or like an amazing point, and it's like 30 seconds of it has copyrighted material and the whole thing. Anyways, that TMI. I digress. I'm sorry. And in addition to that, the mystery man from the program trailer has been identified. There was 2 people in there that I didn't recognize, and one of them has been identified. The guy who said, I don't know who he is. We'll figure that part out later. But a tweet from Merrick von Rennenkamp says, breaking, first-hand knowledge of UAP retrieval / reverse engineering programs. Kirk McConnell, 37-year SSCI / HPSCI / SASC professional staff member speaks out, joining Senate Intelligence Committee Vice Chair Marco Rubio, David Grush, and Mike Gallagher. So that guy actually has a very, very interesting resume that you guys need to know about. So Justin, fill them in on what's going on.
Okay. Mr. Kurt McConnell brings 37 years as a professional staff member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, the Senate Intelligence Committee, the House Intelligence Committee, and the Select Committee on U.S. National Security and Military / Commercial Concerns with People's Republic of China.
Interesting dude, interesting background. I'm glad that we're going to be hearing from him in this.
Yeah, this is my first time hearing about him.
Same.
So it's very interesting if he is a first-hand whistleblower that is coming forward on the program. I mean, that's, wow. I mean, it just solidifies my anticipation for watching this documentary.
Same.
You know, if for some reason you didn't just watch the trailer with us, then definitely go and check it out.
Link in the video description box below.
Yeah, you know, you won't be disappointed.
No, you won't.
Right.
So yeah, I hope you got to see it because it was freaking awesome. It was freaking awesome, right? What'd you think of it?
Oh yeah, I can't wait for this to come out.
Me
I've
neither.
been so excited for this documentary for the last year.
God, when are we gonna get a freaking release date? Like,
I think it's coming soon. You know, because I mean the trailer's out now, so I think the actual release will be probably within the next month. I would say. I hope.
Okay,
I really hope.
All I know is that some people have already seen it, and I can't help but be a little jelly. Speaking of people that have already seen it, we have a clip for you guys from the Jesse Michaels American Alchemy show where he talks to James Fox. It was like a 3-hour video. Highly recommend watching the whole thing, but we condensed it down to a really good 6 minutes for you guys. So let's check that out.
Who's made an incredible, I think, 7 documentaries at this point?
Yeah, it's like 6.5 or 7 because I did a couple of versions of Out of the Blue. So I count that as almost 2, but it's at least 1.5 because I spent another 2.5 years completely revamping it. So I did 50 Years of Denial, then it was Out of the Blue Director's Cut, I Know What I Saw, The Phenomenon, Moment of Contact. Shoot. I guess this would, 6.5.
And the program, which is coming out, we just had this amazing screening last night with Hal Puthoff, of all people, who's a star of the documentary itself.
Our detection platforms are so well advanced so we could see a lot more. Then it really is a zoo of options and possibilities.
And it's just incredible. And so I hope you're very proud of it. And I know this has been a long slog, many decades for you. And I feel lucky to kind of ride the coattails, you know, kind of draft aerodynamically behind people like you. So I'm very grateful to you and thank you for doing that.
Thank you. And I love seeing younger people, the new generation, recognizing how significant the story is. It's
Yay, that's
you know,
us.
I used to often ask people when I was first started out, they'd go, you don't actually believe in this shit, do you? They literally would say that to me. And I'd say, well, let me ask you, if it were true, and I'm not telling you to believe that it's true, but if it were, how significant of a story would you give it? And everybody says, be the biggest story in history. I was like, well, I'm convinced it's happening. So it's not a story that's easily just dropped, right?
Yeah, kind of changes everything. There are two models of consciousness. One is that it is produced simply by the senses and it's produced locally. And then there's another where the body is a biological collapsing function on a default state of greater perception or greater omniscience. And so actually, if you cut off certain senses or silence certain things, or the
like a deprivation tank or something?
Yeah, like sensory deprivation, you sense more, not less. And so the body is like a transmitter. Like you have in consciousness, you have the binding problem of consciousness, right? You have the battery. So you have like, the occipital lobe, you have the prefrontal cortex, reasoning, you have Wernicke's area, which is reading comprehension, you have Broca's area, which is speech, you have the cerebellum, which is movement, right? We have no idea though how those all mesh together to create our seamless perception of, like, it's almost like you're watching a movie when you're conscious.
Yeah.
And so what is that? And then if you look at the radio, a radio has its own binding problem. So you have the capacitors, the battery, the antenna, you have all the constituent parts, but you have no idea how it's playing Vivaldi's Four Seasons. And you could take out a battery and, it'll stop playing, but that's just one of the components. And in fact, you'd have to know that it's tapping into something much larger. It's tapping into, an electromagnetic frequency that's allowing it to play the actual music. And so maybe, this is something I've sort of started to get interested in. Maybe there's an expanded version of electromagnetism that allows for more wave types than just your traditional transverse Hertzian wave. And then, maybe your brain is sort of an antenna. And William James is a big fan of this. He called
Gary
it
Nolan
transmission.
Talks about experiencers have a certain
caudate nucleus and putamen, and the basal ganglia.
The caudate, putamen, basal ganglia is at the core of many of the, let's say, the more mainstream things that we were claiming even before we had our first publication. That the caudate is basically a central node involved in intuitive and other crystallized and fluid intelligence.
That could be the part that
more
is
of
the
an
antenna.
Exactly.
Because when people
it's going on around us, but some people can detect it better than others, right?
And it allows you to, yes. Yeah. And it's the neuronal density in that area that determines your ability to do this. And it's this ability to act on instinct. So it's not based on the senses that you're picking up. In fact, that area, when hooked up to an fMRI, lights up when somebody makes a quote unquote brilliant move and go. And a brilliant move is a move that makes no sense rationally. It only makes sense in the context of a future endpoint of the person winning. So it's almost based on, their opponent making some dumb move that they somehow psychically knew about. Well, it's called the phenomena because it's hard to classify, but there's something going on. So I'm with you.
It's global. It's ubiquitous. It's like people would say to me, like, well, what conclusions have you drawn from all the years? And because I'm coming to the conclusion that I'm probably not going to know what's really going on. I'm probably not going to ever get the full picture, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but I doubt it.
You might.
Maybe.
Maybe you're taking on a craft and giving it download.
Downloads.
But, one of the summaries I would give that I feel quite comfortable, the conclusion that I have reached, is that the phenomenon has the ability to manifest itself. It's ubiquitous, and it can manifest itself in like a physical form, like technologically, like an engineered craft.
Yeah.
But also has a psychic ability as well,
Clearly.
right?
Yeah.
Like I remember when, 2017, New York Times article, some of the evidence that I remember had some family members go, maybe James wasn't so crazy.
Yeah.
People that are like really close family members that are total intellectuals, and they just like.
But are there times you don't want to talk about it too? Because in either direction, it's either they're fanatic or they're,
Here's the way I feel about it now.
Yeah.
I feel like people will say, like, you know, they look at me sideways, whatever, and I just say, you know what? You're a believer. And I say, well, no, it's not that. It's you either know about it or you don't.
Yeah.
Because it's not a question of believing or not believing. I mean, it's a reality. It's happening. Now, we don't have an explanation for it, or certainly I don't have a prosaic explanation for it. But it's happening.
It's happening.
You know, and there's no question there's an intelligence behind it.
Yeah.
And it might be a myriad of different explanations. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'm open to it.
Yeah.
But it's real, and there's a non-human intelligence behind it, and I'm convinced I'd put my life on it.
Yeah.
You know, behind that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything else there, in my opinion, is speculation. But I know, because I've talked to certain people that, according to them, that seem to be in a position to know, there are probably a handful of people on this planet that have the bigger picture.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, it's not. I really liked how he said that at the end there.
Yeah.
It's not a question of belief. It's either you know about it or you don't.
Because it's a reality. It's like it's literally a thing. It's not a matter of, oh, is this real anymore?
Right.
It's like, no, it's real. We have evidence, we have pictures, we have videos, we have radar, we have FLIR, we have all kind of things. So it's now just a matter of like looking at the data and figuring out what, where, who, and with what intention.
I'm super excited that James went on Jesse Michaels' podcast.
That was a great conversation.
Yeah, I really liked that.
was. It was so like well-rounded, and they talked about so many different things. I was just like, whoa. And James was talking about being, or okay, let me not over-exaggerate and say being a psychic, but he had some psychic moments where he like saw things that were happening in a totally different area, where like he was inside editing and somebody was outside keying his car, and through a premonition, third eye vision, he saw the act of the dude scratching down his car with a key.
Yeah. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend that you go and watch the full interview, because it was phenomenal.
For sure.
Just like the documentary that's going to be coming out.
Yeah.
You know, right. And so I'm really looking forward to James's documentary. That was an excellent interview by Jesse Michaels again. I always love watching content by Jesse Michaels. It's top notch for sure.
That I don't know how old he is, but so I'll just say that guy, that
Jesse,
kid or that
Jesse.
dude, Jesse, is like a walking encyclopedia. Like that dude knows dates, he knows first names, he knows last names, he knows all the acronyms, he knows all the programs, he knows what everybody did, he knows who's connected with who and who had what kind of conversation with what. Like when I listen to him speak, I'm like, holy shit, is there anything this guy doesn't freaking know about this subject? Shout out to Jesse Michaels. Honestly, if you're watching this, or if you ever hear this, like shout out to you for knowing.
Honestly speaking, he is probably one of the most intelligent people that are covering disclosure.
Just call him Britannica.
I mean, yeah, seriously, you know, the guy is a savant almost.
For real.
For real.
I really enjoy watching his stuff.
Me too.
It's very well put together too. It's very captivating. I like how he ties things together, but that's the editor and me talking about things that are not relevant to the show. Let's move on.
All right. So I'm super excited for it. I can't wait for it to come out, the program.
Same.
And I highly recommend you go watch that interview that we just took little snippets of, you know, little highlights.
Yeah.
If you would like to watch these videos or read up on Kurt McConnell, please make sure to check out the video description box below, where you can find that link along with all of the other sources featured in this show, and in the order that they appear.
And that concludes this week's UAP Society's weekly UAP and UFO news show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and while you guys are here, please do us a favor and smash that like button, click subscribe, ring our little notification bell, drop a lovely comment down below, and share this video with your family and friends to help us spread the good word. Let's raise the collective consciousness together in unity.
All right, much love.
Much love, peace, and namaste.